My father sabotaged our adoption and called it a phase. His forwarded email kept the whole thread. My husband, Nolan, and I had discussed adoption for years before we submitted our application. I was 36 and worked as a city archivist in Richmond. Nolan managed a neighborhood hardware store. We had a steady marriage, a spare bedroom, and more patience than matching furniture. The home study required 3 personal references. My father, Martin, volunteered before I could ask anyone else. "Nobody knows you better," he said. "I'll make sure they understand how ready you are." That surprised me, because Dad had always treated adoption like an unusual hobby. 2 weeks afterward, our caseworker Patris paused the home study. She said a reference had raised serious questions about our marriage, housing, and future plans. Confidentiality prevented her from naming the person. She asked whether Nolan planned to move out. She also asked whether I had accepted a job overseas. Neither claim was true. Nolan had just renewed the store lease, and I had never applied abroad. We submitted bank statements, employment letters, and a written childcare plan. Still, Patris said the unexplained concerns had to be resolved before our application could move forward. Dad called that evening and asked for an update. When I explained the delay, he sighed like someone hearing a prediction come true. "Maybe this is the universe telling you something," he said. I asked whether Patris had questioned him about our marriage. He paused, then blamed a bad phone connection. A month later, my aunt invited us to dinner. She hugged me and said she understood why we had quit. Dad had told everyone the process overwhelmed me. He said Nolan wanted our old life back. I corrected her, but Dad waved his hand across the table. "It's kinder than telling people the agency rejected you," he said. That was when I knew he had supplied the warning. I still had no proof. Accusing him would only give him another story about my emotions. 6 months passed while we gathered new references and requested a formal review. Then my Uncle Leo forwarded an old family email chain while planning Thanksgiving. Buried beneath recipes and arrival times was a message Dad had sent Leo after his reference call. I told the agency enough to slow them down. Dad had written, "She'll thank me when this phase passes." The forwarded chain included Dad's original message to Patris. He claimed Nolan was preparing to leave and that I had hidden an overseas job application. He finished by saying an adopted child would never feel permanent in our home. I read it twice, printed the thread, and placed it in the same blue folder as our home study papers. Nolan asked whether I wanted to confront Dad. I said I wanted to finish what he tried to stop. Our attorney sent the thread to the agency. Patris compared it with her notes and reopened the review. Dad was removed as a reference. 2 longtime friends submitted statements, and our approval finally arrived. The following spring, we met June, a quiet 8-year-old who loved astronomy and hated peas. She tested every promise we made. We kept making them, then kept showing up. Our adoption was finalized the next winter in a small courtroom. Dad heard through relatives and left a voicemail demanding a place at the celebration. He said family disagreements should not be allowed to confuse a child. I sent him one reply with the forwarded thread attached. "The record is clear," I wrote. "June does not need your version of it." Dad later asked Leo to tell everyone there had been a misunderstanding. Leo forwarded that message too. Nobody argued at the next holiday dinner. They simply left Dad's usual chair folded against the wall. June has been home with us for 3 years now. She still hates peas and loves the moon. My father called her a phase. We call her family.